Judging by those close-up shots, you might assume the latest Citroen C4 is an SUV or some sort of sleek coupe crossover thingy. Well, it's not. According to Citroen, the latest C4 is a hatchback. Not having it. Anyway, if this C4 is indeed a hatchback, it's naturally going to go up against the likes of the Volkswagen Golf, Vauxhall, Astra and Ford Focus, which is no mean feat. However, the C4 does have a petrol, a diesel and an electric option, the electric offering around 200 miles-ish. So yeah, let's get straight to it and see if the C4 is worth a look. Now, over the last few years in particular, Citroen and Peugeot have got a reputation for being overly quirky inside, something I don't mind, but others not so much. However, I think the latest C4 strikes a nice balance. It's nice and minimal in here and logically laid out. It looks smart. You've got physical aircon controls, thank goodness. They're not just buried in the touchscreen. And yeah, I think it strikes a nice balance. You've got some nice textured materials dotted around to help break up some of the dark, bland areas. You've got some nice quirky detailing dotted around and a nice sleek 10-inch touchscreen and backlit instrument cluster behind the steering wheel, both of which are standard, by the way. And yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's not overly plush or luxurious, but it's not really supposed to be. And kit across all the trims is pretty impressive as well. Now, we've got the third trim up, I think, which is Shine, but really the biggest boost in kit comes with the second trim, Sense Plus, and that adds the likes of sat-nav, a colour head-up display, and the reversing camera. Although the reversing camera is really wide, it's a really wide-angle camera, and it's a bit dark, so yeah, not the best one out there. Now, this touchscreen system, a lot like other Citroen touchscreen systems, isn't the best. I mean, it's a bit clunky functionality wise, it does take a bit of getting used to, but it does come loaded with features. You do get all the main attractions. You get the likes of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. In terms of practicality in here, it's pretty good. You get this little shelf here for your phone, keys and wallet, but you also get, which is probably my favourite feature in the cabin practicality wise, this little hidden compartment under here, which is good for hiding your keys and your wallet. You also get very deep cup holders. I mean, size of this bottle, I mean, they are massive. You also get half decent door bins. The glove box is a little pants because you've got the ever-present fuse box, thanks Citroen. I guess the most surprising feature in here, practicality-wise, is the tablet holder, which is situated just above the glove box. I mean, great for passengers on long journeys, watching Netflix and things like that, but a bit distracting for the driver. Now, jumping in the back, you can certainly start to feel the C4's hatchback DNA, especially when it comes to headroom. I mean, it is borderline, especially if you spike your hair off. Legroom is a little better overall. It's probably on par with a lot of other hatchbacks, although legroom is a bit compromised when moving about because of the hump in the floor, although that is very common amongst hatchbacks. But yeah, the main gripe in here is headroom, mainly because of the swooping roofline we spoke about earlier, and these C-pillars do hem you in a bit, make you feel a little bit claustrophobic. Not the end of the world. I mean, I have still got a little bit of headroom, but like I say, I wouldn't want to go over any speed bumps. Now, with its narrow opening, you might be fearing the worst with the boot, but it's actually really good. I mean, you've got a nice workable square space, a nice low load lift, and you get up to 380 litres to play around with, which, as a frame of reference, is around the same as the Volkswagen Golf. And you also get, most importantly, an adjustable boot floor, which, as far as I'm concerned, should be a feature in every single car in the world. It is really handy for storing taller shopping. Something also worth noting is that regardless of which C4 you go for, petrol, diesel or electric, the boot space is exactly the same, which is really rare. Usually you lose space because of electrical gubbins and things like that, but this is not the case in the C4. And once you fold those seats down, you get up to 1,250 litres to play around with. Of course, you can see the hump in the seats there. We'll soon sort that out with the aforementioned adjustable boot floor, which is why every car should have them. But yeah, I mean, it's not a particularly clever boot, but it's certainly competitive when it comes to storage space. Citroen doesn't mess around when it comes to comfort. I mean, every car over the last 5 to 8 years that it's released hasn't really concerned itself with being sporty to drive. It's just gone for relaxed, serene, comfortable, and done it really well, and the C4 is no exception. it just seems to laugh off potholes and lumps and bumps with ease, and this is thanks to its progressive hydraulic cushion suspension. The steering's equally as laid back as well, being really light and very easy to manoeuvre, especially around town, although I think it's still quite sharp just off centre, which is nice. Of course, light steering, slightly wishy-washy ride due to the cushy suspension. No surprise that the C4 is hardly fun to drive, especially when going into corners at speed, but Citroen is well aware of what it's doing here. Like I said, it's not going for that type of car. And in fact, if there's one element of the C4 that's very much SUV instead of hatchback, it's its laid-back drive and its slightly compromised rear visibility with that spoiler thing slashing through the rear window. Now, there are petrol, diesel and electric versions of the C4 to choose from, but today we've got the 1.5 litre 110 horsepower blue HDI diesel, which is very eco-conscious and promises anywhere between 50 to 70 miles per gallon. There's a decent amount of poke from this engine as well. Decent amount of low down torque, even if it is throaty under harsh acceleration. Also, if you're a company car driver with this particular diesel, you're looking at a 26% BAK tax bracket for 2021 and 2022. Now, today we have got the manual transmission. Manual transmissions in Citroens are always a bit like that. I'm not a massive fan of it. I mean, there's quite a long throw, it's a bit labour intensive, but it is accurate enough and it does the job. If you do have the option though, I would go for an auto. So, should you consider buying the Citroen C4? Well, it's very stylish, it's got a nice interior, it's reasonably priced, it's relaxing to drive, and there's tons of kit, which is great. Of course, a lot of those qualities also apply to most of its competition, which is to say the C4 hardly jumps out as a market leader. But there is plenty to chew on with it, and if comfort is paramount, then yeah, it should probably be on your shortlist.